steps or the 7 pillars of a color revolution. And it is a way to flip a nation, to get, once you have a system you're ready for, and in this case, it's the Great Reset. It's the World Economic Forum. It's Event 201. You can watch, on YouTube. The Bill Gates Foundation did this war game of what would happen if we had a coronavirus and had to shut everything down. And then once it's down, do we open it up the way it used to be, or can we have a Great Reset? So we know what it's going to go into if it's allowed to. That's why Donald Trump has to be stopped, okay? And so you're seeing this top-down, bottom-up kind of strategy where you need people to rise up in the streets, and it's always coordinating. In all of these revolutions, it's always useful idiots. And we have a bunch of useful idiots in Antifa. And the first thing that has to happen if you're going to overthrow, this is now adopted by the state department. This is how we overthrow governments in color revolutions. The first step is you have to have a semi-autocratic leader. Why a semi-autocratic leader? Because an autocratic leader will just kill everyone. You're doing that revolution? Oh, I see. Bye-bye. So you have to have a semi-autocratic leader, and you have to have a people that don't want somebody telling them what to do. They don't want a dictator. They want their freedom. So you need to have somebody who has some telltale sign of dictator, but not necessarily, like Donald Trump. Why have they been saying that he is Hitler? Why have they been saying he's a Nazi the whole time? They need him to be a dictator, a semi-autocratic leader. That's why they were pushing for him to have a national mask policy, to ban people from going to work nationally, to have all of this top-down stuff, because all of that cannot be done by the Constitution. The president has no place in any of that. That's all up to the states. Do you remember all the Democrats who said, you've just got to issue an order that these companies have to do what you say? They have to start retooling to make everything. And Donald Trump said, I don't need to order them. I'm going to ask them, and they'll do it. And they did. Why was the left saying you have to order? Because that is an autocrat. That is a dictator. And they would have used it against him. Even though they love it, they would have said, see, look what he's doing. Look what he's doing. You also have to have an unpopular leader. This is the second pillar. Have you noticed how he didn't really even win the election? The left has said he's unpopular from day one. He has currently, I believe, Stu, the same popularity level as Barack Obama did. He may be a little higher right now. The same popularity level as Barack Obama did at this time in his presidential term. He's not unpopular. A lot of people really don't like him, but a lot of people really didn't like Barack Obama. They didn't report on that. They just reported that we were monsters, but he's enormously popular because he was popular with the right people. Donald Trump is popular with people who don't have networks and Hollywood and newspapers. So you need an unpopular leader. Then, step 3. You need a compliant media, or enough media, to prepare the ground for election fraud. You need to soften things up to say, this autocratic leader is going to steal the election. Have you heard any of that? Have you heard any of that while thinking, yeah, but you guys are the ones... Can you play the Lawrence O'Donnell clip, please, on what they just passed in California? Listen to this.
California law is that you will count ballots that arrive as late as 17 days or so after Election Day?
Exactly. It's precisely for these reasons that California law says as long as your vote by mail ballot is postmarked on or before Election Day, it can arrive up to 3 days after the election and still be counted. But given the possible delays at this time, we're extending that deadline to 17 days after the election.
So stop. So why would you, 17 days? Do you think 17 days will stress out the American people? First of all, California, we know how you're going to vote. It's not a secret. I mean, I don't think that one's going red. So why would you stretch this out? Why would you change anything in this election? Why? We all know we have problems. Why would you do something that we've never done before? That's only going to cause people on either side to speculate there was fraud. You would keep this election as tight as you possibly can. They're doing this because they need to be able to say there was tampering. Why do they have fleets of attorneys and people that have been literally planning this since 2016 on what they're going to file, when they're going to file on Election Day 2020? Why would you do that? Because you have to call into question that this is fair. Because then no one believes. If Donald Trump is elected, only half the country will believe it. If Joe Biden is elected, only half the country will believe it. This is why it is imperative that you go in and vote and don't do a mail-in ballot, because that's going to elongate everything. They're buying time, because what happens in color revolutions is they start the night of or the next day saying there was fraud, there was disenfranchisement, and that is the impetus that's the cover story to have the riots start nationwide. To be clear, if you can't get to the polls, you would still vote for mayor, absentee. Yeah, absentee. You could still do it if you had to, but you're saying if you had the choice, go to the polls. Go to the polls. Anything that is going to elongate this, anything that's going to take 17 days for you to have an answer, is a problem. Now, they changed everything in Detroit, and during the Democratic election, Detroit, it was the first and LiquorRI.com presents
Enjoy RI.
so many places to go and things to do.
We're all ready to get out and enjoy Rhode Island.